Folks, I've got the MP560 brush mulcher on here from Baumalight. First time I've ever tried it on this tractor. We tried it on a Deere 5410 last season. You can go check out that episode. This tractor is a little bit smaller, but it has a cab. I'll let you know that I'm not sure this is the optimal combination. I think the mulcher is going to be great. The tractor is obviously a nice tractor. I'm not sure they're a perfect fit for each other. Let's get started. Folks, it is windy today. Not a very pleasant day to be out, but what we're trying to do is get some of this brush knocked back before the leaves come on, right? I mean, it's already budded here a little bit. This is a difficult situation because this area lays wet. So we can't get in here in the real early spring because it's too wet. We have to wait till it's somewhat dried up, or else we'll either get stuck or make a lot of ruts. And so we only have a few days to work before the leaves get on. We thought it would be good to try the mulcher in this situation. We're thinking that it's a little easier on the mulcher. It doesn't have to take all those leaves in with it. Maybe stuff doesn't get wrapped around as much. Another thing I want to say is that this is the bigger brush. We just keep getting closer and closer and closer to some of the biggest brush we have to deal with. I know it doesn't look like much on the video. Some of this stuff's pretty big. We've got some 6-inch stuff, some probably even bigger than 6-inch stuff in there, especially when they come together at the base. There's one in there where there's like a half a dozen trunks coming out of one base, and the base looks to be about 1 foot in diameter, maybe a little more than 1 foot in diameter, and then all these individual trunks come out of it. I'll get started here. Best if you push into it from the bottom first instead of the top of the tree first. The particular angle I had on these didn't make that as easy, but that's the best way to get in there. Maybe if I'll raise the mulcher up a little bit, I can catch some more of the tree. This mulcher has some differences and a couple of additional features over the MP348 that I find pretty useful. The additional features, this big bar on the top to help you push trees over and kind of control the mulch at the input there to the mulcher, really helps a lot. I really like that. The other is this chain on the front to keep things from being thrown under the front quite as severely. I'm probably going to have to go in and get those from another direction. So I'll just get another path here while I'm here and eventually get those from that other direction. It's also got a different type of cutting edge. These have these square type carbide teeth, and I think it probably cuts a little bit better. I have another tree that's crossways here. It really works best if I can pull those trees right in there straight instead of from a crossways angle. That's why I'm turning around this way. Now they offer essentially the same mulcher in a skid steer attached version. And when we get to this size, I think a skid steer would definitely be an easier, power unit to attach to one of these. It's just easier to turn. It's you've got more of a hydrostatic transmission, which is better for this. Just easier to handle overall. But if what you have is a farm tractor and you don't really have any other use for a skid steer, then this thing does the job. I mean, it runs right over them. I believe it definitely handles a larger tree easier than the MP348. We've got about 73 engine horsepower, I think, 65 PTO horsepower. One thing I notice is going forward with this machine really mulches stuff up very fine. The 348 doesn't seem to have quite the same impact going forward. Overall, I find the 348 easier to drive, but it's probably not because of the mulcher. It's probably because just of the size of this tractor, it's just more cumbersome. We tried the 348 on a 4R, 4052R, in a previous episode. You can go check that out. And it was much easier to handle. That's really one of the differences here when we're talking about this shuttle shift transmission that you get into here on the 5E. It's a very nice transmission, but you know, it's not suited to these back and forth and stopping jobs like this. What I'm doing here right now, in order to go back just a little bit, I kind of have to ride the clutch. You probably already commented on that, but it's just not good on this clutch to do this all the time. It's not going to hurt it here for, you know, one project, small project like this. So, but if you were buying this full time just to do this job, I would be suggesting that you find another solution. I believe those trees are sufficiently knocked down that I can back over them. Yeah. I'll go in from this way and see if I can get that one big one. See, here's an example. You know, you'd say, well, how big is that stuff? Oh, you might say 4 inches, because it looks like, you know, once you get 4 or 5 inches above the ground, it is 4 inches. But right at ground level, that's close to a foot in diameter. Just because of the way that particular bush or tree or whatever you call it is, comes out of the ground. Now that stump is totally gone, at least to ground level. Now it's not perfect here, but I've kind of got a bunch of this brush that I pushed sideways from that other angle. I'm going to try to see if I can come along with it from this angle and mulch a lot of that all in one push. So one struggle I have is when I get it sideways, I can't get it to feed in very well. I'm going to have one trunk down here that is sideways. That was the not perfect part. But the ones that are straight that I'm catching from their butt end, that's working. Go up here, I don't want to scratch up this fender. I'm not sure what's going on there. This is not a job to rush. This is a great job to take your time. I might be able to turn that one around, get it lined up with the other ones. There we go. Now on stuff like this small stuff, this larger mulcher makes a huge difference. It just eats it like it's nothing. Still pretty wet up here in front of me. The cab makes it a lot more comfortable for me, but I must admit it reduces the visibility a good bit. The area of reduced visibility is right down behind the 3-point hitch here. There's a nice window there, but it's still hard to see with the same level of detail that I can see on the open station tractor. This particular tree right here is giving me grief. It wants to go sideways no matter which direction I'm going. I'll try lining them up again. I dragged it right back out again. I got half of it. Let's see if I can get this other half. Okay, I'm going to try to back on through all this stuff. I don't know if I can do it all in one push or not, but I'll back all through this. Maybe get to that big cedar there. Pretty good sized cedar tree there. Usually I don't have too much trouble with cedars though. They seem to come off pretty easy. one trip back and one trip forward, and that's what it's left with. I'm pretty impressed. Part of this, while I'm mulching it, I'm mixing a little bit of soil in with the rest of those chips. That's going to help them degrade even faster. I'm actually seeing that as one of the big advantages of this unit is the mulching ability. I mean, I'm not left with a brush pile when we're done with all this. Any other approach that we would use, you've got this huge pile of brush that you've got to deal with. Burn or otherwise dispose of. Usually they're burned around here. It's pretty muddy where the tractor is. Need to make this kind of a one-and-done trip right here. You know, I forgot one of the features of the thing. I can hook up that hydraulics, and it lets me to open a gate back there that might give me some better sight of mulching it. I'll drive up and put that on now. See, when this falls out like this, I'd forgot about this feature. I'd got so excited about all the mulching that I wanted to do. This feature allows me to have a hydraulic opening on this gate. I've had it closed the whole time. Maybe that's why I'm having a little difficulty getting stuff fed in. I'm going to open that gate to try to get stuff to feed in better. And then, as I recollect from our experience last summer, closing the gate's what allows it to mulch better. And we've been seeing really good mulching. So the challenge I've had has been in feeding, not mulching. So maybe that's why it's hydraulic. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm going to leave it closed to start here because I've got some already down that I need to mulch. Yeah, it throws stuff a lot more when I have that door open. I got the camera lady here fairly close to the tree from the side. There's not a lot of danger from the side. It's pretty much to the back and then right in front of it. I want to see a close-up of this tree getting cut off. Whoops, should have raised it up just a little bit. No question, this mulcher will handle whatever the tractor can handle. Now I'm going to lower it and get that stump a little bit there. Smoking the slip clutch. Let it run here a little to cool. I think I'd like another hydraulic motion. I'd like to be able to take that big black arm on the top there and be able to push it down. If I could push it down, sometimes that would help me feed in better. See, I'd like to push down there. another pile lined up here that I think I can go right over. Now with this cab on, I have to listen close. I don't know when I'm slipping my clutch. Now, I've been talking about the slip clutch here a little bit. Once you've slipped the slip clutch, it gets hot. And then it'll not be nearly as strong as it was. So you really have two things you have to do. You have to let it cool, is the first thing. And then likely you probably need to tighten it a little bit if you've slipped it in normal conditions. Oh, it's a huge difference when I shut that door. Again, I don't have any trouble with the cedars. I wish I could take that arm up there at the top, that guard, and just fold it down. I could fold that cedar right down on the ground and let him be fed in. Slipping my clutch again. Here we go. This is a pretty good sized cedar tree here. Some other trees in front of it. Oops, I want to open that gate. I'll drive up a little bit, open the gate. Gives me a much easier way to get in there. Come on, my clutch is slipping. We're really gonna have to stop and tighten that clutch up. Folks, I'm glad this tire project's pretty close to the house. I'm gonna have to go home and tighten up this slip clutch, but I was kind of done with what I wanted to do today anyway. We wanted to try to get this kind of even with the back of this fence here. We've got that. I would have liked to have finished mulching up that cedar, but there's no point in tearing up my slip clutch, and there'll be another day. It's really too wet to be back here anyway. And the main thing is that we're kind of doing just a little bit of this project at a time. We keep thinking that we might have another tractor we want to try on this attachment, or there might be another attachment we want to try. This is kind of a playground for us, and I think you guys have enjoyed it. I know I've enjoyed having this, well, it's been turned out a couple acres, I think, of brush that we've had to clear, and maybe we can show some early video of what it looked like and compare it to what it looks like today. It's radically different. Hey, it won't be long. We'll be out here and mow. We've got nearly 5 acres now here to mow. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.